Let's look at the evolution of WebRTC throughout the eras. We started at around 2011, and up until 2014, what we've been is through the era of exploration. The question we've asked through this era is, should I use it? Is this something that is good for me? What we had at the time is support in Chrome and Firefox, and that's about it. Sometimes they didn't interoperate, and you couldn't write an application to run on both until you could, but that's where we were. Then we entered the era of growth. Between 2015 to 2019, we've seen a lot of different companies join in on the fray and start putting out applications that were running in production, commercial applications using WebRTC. The main question in this era was, how do I use it? What are the APIs? What are the pieces that I need to build? How do I connect it to existing solutions that I already have? Here, what happened is that Microsoft Edge and Apple Safari joined in and supported WebRTC. So we've had all of the modern browsers now supporting WebRTC. From there, we went into the era of differentiation. This is the era that we're now completing and moving on to the next one. In this era of the last 5 years or so, the main question we had is, how do I compete? We had WebRTC. It was standardized. It was announced with version 1.0 after around 10, 11 years of actually having WebRTC around. We had Zoom. Zoom didn't really use WebRTC, or not exactly like everyone else, but it was huge. And every company needed to look at Zoom and say, well, how am I going to differentiate from what they are doing or do something similar to them? And then we had the pandemic, where we had 1 billion people being indoctrinated to using browsers, to using visual communications, to doing remote calling with others. With all of the applications around there, the question was, how do I shine? How do I do things that are different, that break out of the noise that we have around, that use WebRTC? What is happening now is that we're moving to a new era, and this is the era of generative AI. It's starting this time, this year, or the next, depending how you look at it. And the main question is, how do I automate? What do I do with generative AI alongside WebRTC? If I would have been a cynic, and I am, I would say that the question here is, how do I put fairy dust of generative AI on my WebRTC application? We've got LLMs, the large language models, that can now be used to understand and interact with humans and machines. And we've got OpenAI, who is leading the charge in what it means to use these models and to do generative AI. And again, now the question is, where are we going to find WebRTC in this world of LLMs and generative AI? The answers are going to be quite interesting, and we're going to see them unfold in the coming years. We're going to see AI being folded into WebRTC itself, used around it and on top of it, and also WebRTC changing a bit to be able to better interact with LLMs. We're going to have an exciting ride in this new era, and I'd like you to join me in this journey that we're going on. Thank you.